Blarla. Hello peeps and welcome back to 2 Point Hospital. Welcome back to Mitton University, where I've had a little bit of a rejig since the last episode. I explained the patient flow and what I wanted going on in each building, and then have just cleaned things up a little bit so that we can just move on with developing the hospital. So just to cover the bits and bobs that I've gone over, this initial building here, I'm always going to want to be the main GP area. And potentially lots of people can be waiting in here, so we've gone for the new toilet convention that I've been using, which you saw me 3-starring in Hogsport and Lower Bullocks recently, and if you've been watching my streams you've been seeing these slightly different toilets as well, where we've got male and female, just to allow for the potential high capacity that may happen as we add more GP offices to this area. This will eventually be a really big ward that actually goes around the entire corner, and we will really go over this ward when I feel that it's needed. At the moment the ward is fine, there's a toilet there, it's absolutely fine. They've got 2 staff rooms now close by. This is our further diagnostic building. At the moment we only have these 2 rooms and some support facilities, and of course we want people that have been to further diagnostics to come to this GP's office rather than head all the way back to these. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, hey ho, but we try our best to capture as many of them here as possible. This is going to be our psychiatric wing, and as you can see, I think really we need to be building more of this. If we look at illnesses now, we have 4 illnesses coming into the psychiatric units, and we're not keeping up. We're now on level 13 and we're not keeping up with demand at all, so we're going to be addressing that today. And this is the cures building. So yeah, here we are with another staff room. So they've got these doctors that will be working here will have quick access to these staff rooms, and there's toilets nearby for everybody, that sort of stuff. We've also done the male and female split toilets in here as well, because again this area has potential to get very busy. Right, so they are the changes. We've got our training rooms over here, and as I say, the first thing we need to look at is this. This is not functioning very well anymore. We're not keeping up with demand. So we do have 3 psychiatric doctors. We could really do with employing a new doctor if we can. That will be a really good doctor. I think it's going to be Norma Puffin. So let's grab her and we're going to pop her into a training room. Psychiatry with Dr. Froud. And let's just amend her jobs as well to cope with that. That'll be excellent. Right. And let's build a new office, because we do have a 3rd highly trained psychiatrist. So let's get him in, shall we? Let's give him his own office. Finally, he's earned his own office. Let's see. What's the best orientation for this? Maybe this might be nice. Should we go with this orientation? It's alright, isn't it? Kind of like that. Like this. And it seems as well that we have a window here. No window here. No. No window there. Okay. Nice. Excellent. And we like to put a rug by the door, because of course as soon as the patient comes in, we want them to promptly sit down and get into the session, right? That's what we want. So what have I done here? Have we done it like this?
Nurse to the pharmacy.
Not sure. Don't like that? Facing the door? Yeah. And then we put his chair over there, like that. And he also has a lovely lamp. Let's heat the room. Make it nice and toasty warm. Let's build it so that they can actually start using it right away. How cold is it out here? Yeah, so we could do with getting a radiator in there, I think. That might be nice. Maybe another one here. It's getting a bit warm over there. That's fine. If we take this one away, it does get cold here, doesn't it? It really does get cold. If I stick it there, it's a bit nippy. Let's see. She's in sort of the midst of that. She's still reading us comfortable, so I think we'll go with that. I don't think we'll worry about it too much. That looks okay. And what we could do maybe, it'd be nice when we have small radiators, I'm not going to lie. Because it's quite annoying. That's not working. That's not working. Let's pop it like that. Might as well commit to that awful setup. Let's put that there. Put that there. And
crime
unless we, this is what we could do.
You may not even be safe
Cheesy
in your own
gubbins
home.
there.
That's
The
why you
radiator
need
there.
jumbo security systems.
We think about that.
We'll fill
That's not
your
so
house
bad,
with
is it?
Cameras, watch your every move,
Watch your every move.
and even recommend what products to buy based on your
Oh
behavior.
my goodness. Is it?
Jumbo. We spy because we
We
care.
spy because we care. Wow.
More 2 Point. More often. This is
There
2
we go.
Point Radio.
Excellent. There we are. And what have we got going on? They're starting to separate out, filter to here, which is lovely. We do need to decorate this room a little bit more, don't we? Actually,
Nurse required in general diagnosis.
do need to decorate it just a little bit more. Let's get all the gubbins in, shall we? So we've used one of each of these, which is nice. Oops, that's not what I meant to do at all. Why won't you spin? There we go. Do you know what? We might put this one here. And this one next to it. And what we'll do, let's put that there, I think. That's sort of like his private office space, if you like, behind that screen. In my mind.
Deluxe clinic
There we
calling
go.
doctor.
Excellent. Excellent. Although we haven't done it too well here, have we? They sort of they have spilled out over here, and this is because of the radiator business, because we still can't have a small radiator. So let's get his coffee maker and a filing cabinet here. Put his certificate down. Oops, to say that he has watched ER. That's lovely. We're enjoying that. Then we need his medicine cabinets. There they are. Excellent. Oh yes, and of course if he gets peckish he will need one of these. I don't like putting them by the radiator, but we're going to work with the space that we've got for now. And yes, of course he will need hand sanitizer. Fantastic. That's not too bad, is it? That's not too bad. That will probably do for now. That will do the job. I do kind of like the idea of giving him one of these, but for now I think that's pretty good. It's functioning and we can see the queues have disappeared, which is wonderful. Yeah, people that have gone through their further diagnostics are coming back here, which is fantastic. We'll take that emergency. Brilliant. Brilliant. I think this is sort of working.
It's that time of day again. That's right, folks.
Excellent.
Harrison
So I think
Wolf
we've
is back on the airwaves.
successfly dealt with
Stay
that problem.
tuned for my
So let's do
unique
some more
brand of
training.
enthusiastic
Always keep the training going.
banter.
So let's see. We might get this GP up to a level 4. General practice. Excellent. And you can see that I do tend to favour building the doctors in a full skill. Right, no messing at all. If they're in psychiatry, and of course I make it so they solely do that job, then they get the full whack, right up to 5. Same with GPs. Tommy here works in treatment clinics. Okay, now with treatment clinics, you very rarely get a skill that deals with the specific thing that you're treating. Like, there's no skill for dealing with lightheadedness. This room deals with an awful lot of illnesses, so you do get that pharmacy management skill, but you only get it for 1 level. The main thing about these sorts of cure rooms
Security alert.
is the machine. You upgrade the machines, and that helps with your cure chances. However, what you can do is train doctors
Imminent.
and nurses that are in cure clinics, because of course we've got a cure clinic over here, and I'm training him up in treatment as well, and I make sure that they are only working in departments where they are 100% curing, right? They don't do anything towards diagnostic at all. So we can see here that doctors can work in Pan's lab and the deluxe clinic. We don't actually have Pan's lab on this level. There's been no need for it. So at the moment he is only working 1, which is why there's only 1 doctor, because they don't come in constantly either. He spends a lot of time idling in here. So there's no need to get a second one when he's on break. Just no need for it. So at the moment he only needs to worry about this 1 department. But there are other cure clinics in the future that doctors look after, and I would be inclined to get another doctor, and they would share the responsibilities, a bit like we've done here with diagnostics, right? So I've made it so that this nurse and another nurse, a second nurse, always work these 2 rooms, right? These are the 2 diagnostic rooms that we have available, and I have 2 nurses to work them. And so I train them into a maximum of diagnostics 5 and make sure they only work in diagnostics room. It's the same over here, because I will always make sure that he only ever works in treatment rooms, and he's trained up to level 5 treatment. Occasionally you get the odd one where you get the pharmacy management skill. So because I do keep them only working in pharmacy, they should have this skill. There is no reason why they shouldn't have that skill, because pharmacy treatment, you can see, it increases treatment skill by 20%. Now this skill only works in pharmacy, so while the ward does treatment and a treatment skill will help in the ward, the pharmacy one is null and void. It only works in the pharmacy. So what I do is I help boost his treatment power, because again, most of the treatment power comes from upgrading the mixers. But there's no harm in training them out in additional treatment skill, each with 10%. No harm in doing that at all. So that's what I do. What else do we do here? I always give my assistants 5 customer service skill. I keep it simple, basically. Janitors is where it gets a little bit more complicated for my methods of doing things. I try to keep it as simple as possible, and this is the only time that it changes. Okay. So I always like to have 1 doctor that is trained in purely upgrading machines, so that he will or she will begin to upgrade machines very, very quickly. So I'm training them in that. Now, given that upgrading machines, well, later on it becomes more of a thing, and it's not so big now, I fill their additional time as best I can with also looking after unblocking toilets, repairing machines, and restocking vending machines, just to try and keep them busy. And I probably could add plants to that, because they're still looking for work. They've got nothing to do. but I would rather that they just concentrated on these things. But really, they're a bit of an odd one, a bit of an oddball. These ones for me. I then have GPs, janitors that go up to level 5 in maintenance, and they are all about repairing the machines and unblocking toilets. They do that much faster, more efficiently and better, and I like to get them to focus on that job so that as soon as a machine needs attention, they can go and deal with it, and they're not bogged down by watering plants and cleaning the floors. Everybody else is the cleaning force. Okay, and they do all the other things. Now, when it comes to training them, they get ghost training, and then they get all the other odd bits and bobs, and they also get one in maintenance. So if we go into training a moment, let's see here, start training course. So we can see that we have stamina, emotional intelligence, bedside manner, motivation, training, masterclass. These are all fantastic skills. Now, I tend to give stamina, emotional intelligence, motivation, maintenance, one level of maintenance, and the ghost capturing skill, which I can't see there at the moment, to the janitors. Okay. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't use these on the other staff. For example, let's take a GP. Oh, I've got a very unhappy GP. Right. Traits. Now, they're pretty good traits, and this is something that I look at when I'm picking a staff member, because I know that I'm going to want to train them up into level 5. I'm not going to want to deal with other issues of their personality. But we can have all kinds of personality traits. But we're probably not going to find them amongst my staff, if I'm being perfectly honest. We're probably not going to find them. So let's go over them. So emotional intelligence gives +10 happiness. So staff that maybe get hangry or are nasty, or get upset easily, giving them emotional intelligence training can counteract them. Most of the traits that reduce happiness tends to be around 10%. So what you can do is make it null and void. So if you have a level 4 GP and you've spent a lot of money training him up, but he's upsetting a lot of patients, you might want to use bedside manner. Increase the happiness of patients when dealing with them. So you might think, actually, I don't want GP5. I might actually give them bedside manner so they stop upsetting people. You might want your staff to just move around faster and give them increased speed. You may want to train somebody up purely to be a trainer, and then training masterclass would be fantastic because their teaching and learning speed is increased by 50%. So it actually works if they're being trained as well, right? As well as training. So that's really, really good. I would say it's probably better if they're being a trainer and you're going to constantly reuse them. Then this is probably a really good thing to give them. If you know that you're going to be training lots of GPs and you don't want to keep paying for it, training somebody up in masterclass and a bunch of GPs is probably a good way to go. That sort of thing. Stamina training, energy drains at a reduced rates will work for longer. So some staff members are quite lazy, and this would help with that. What I tend to do is decide what traits, negative traits, I'm happy to live with and what ones I'm not. I'm not going to give them training to counteract a negative trait personally. It's a personal preference. They get, as they become trained, like this is how fast he's moving. Speed 110%, right? And he's got 2 qualifications, but as you get to higher qualifications, so we can see, I think she looks like she's moving faster, right? She's at level 3. It still says 100. That's says 110%. But she moves faster because every time you get a promotion, I don't have a promotion thing, we'll have a look at it, but it increases their speed, and depending on what staff type they are, could be their diagnostic skills, or the treatment skills. So you just got to work with what works best for you. I like to max out training skills because it's easier for me in my mind than giving them all sorts of different things, and it means that as soon as I look at my staff list, I know who I'm dealing with. It's very clear to see what's going on here. To me, he's clearly a psychiatrist. I don't need to look at his jobs to know that. So I know that I'm just going to want to train him up in psychiatry, the next psychiatry level. Let's do it. Let's just get it done. The nurses, she's clearly our treatment nurse, so or he is, Reg. So I'm just going to train him straight up in treatment 3. It's just simple and easy. Have any of our assistants? No, none of our assistants are ready, although they are very close. We can see to being promoted. And so we've got a janitor here. Now I can see, because there's a sort of a whole mishmash of skills, that she is one of my all-rounders. So she doesn't worry about maintenance so much. Although if I do start to have trouble with toilets, I do give them, just to fill up that 5th slot, I do tend to give them maintenance. But it tends to be something I give them at the end. So she probably came with those 2 skills. Whereas this one, Brandy here, I've been doing from the beginning. So maintenance would be the last one that I add, just to take up the space. And it means that they could then possibly also take on toilets. So it might be that I'd let her do toilets as well, because she'd be a bit more proficient at it. She's also ready, Natasha here, for training. So I can see this is all the things we can train the janitor in. Motivation is quite high up on my list of things to give to janitors. I always like to get ghost capture in first, but then I like to do motivation. So they move even faster around the hospital. So we're going to get her that. Oh, look, and then I just dismissed that promotion screen. Never mind. So I've got a spare training room. Janitors are good. They're good. So who could we... Maybe we could get Forbes in to do a bit of diagnostic training. There we are. So, that's pretty much how I work out my training. I hope I've managed to answer everybody's questions in regards to that. If not, just ask below and we'll go over it again. Or more specific areas, because I try to be as fairly general on how I do it. There's no hard and fast rule on the way that you do it at all. There really isn't. So don't think that's the only way to do it. It's simply not true. You can do whatever you want to do. So it's time for research, because we really want to get 1 star. And do you know what? We might open this. These are great research monitors, and I don't have supercomputers at the moment, which will come later, so let's remove that. We'll pop a door in here, and then we have our research pod. Fantastic. Our research pod to Harrison Wolf. And these screens, they're very expensive, but look, +1 research power, so I'm just going to put a couple of these in.
Never hurts to have a fallback career. I tried out as a paparazzi, so by hanging out at the Paradise Lust Hotel, where all the celebs stay. Managed to take a bunch of pictures of the doorman, but having a hard time selling them. I guess I'll stick to playing records. Like this one.
So we're going to... And again, you can have as many of these desks that I'm putting in now as you like as well. These are also boost 1 research power. But I think I am just going to have the 1 in there. Let's build that for the moment. We are going to need a doctor designed to work in research. We can do that. So here we see this is an assistant. So they get an additional training slot. Their movement speed is increased. And because they're assistants, they also get a boost in marketing skill, because that's something that comes later for them. So we need a doctor specifically for research. And do you know what? We might actually employ a couple and get multiple researchers. A bit like the ward, you can put multiples in there. So let's see here. I don't mind hangry, to be honest. I don't like unhygienic. So Ingrid here is pretty good.
Doctor
Okay.
wanted in research.
And we will get the research skill going. Imogen, thank you. We're going to start that. And then we're going to come back here. Roy O. Green fingers. High energy. Class clown. Hangry. Because of the way that I design my hospitals, the chances of him getting hangry are fairly unlikely. Because he's always got food available to him. So I think we'll get Aaron and we'll add him to that training course. So we're going to end up with 2 researchers. So let's remove them from all these other skills. And what we'll do is we will increase this to 1 extra. So this is where they will both work. And shall we pick a project for them to get started on? So you can see that we have actually already put quite a lot of research points towards chromotherapy from capturing ghosts and whatnot, because that does help aid research. So you can see that we've actually almost done it. So that is amazing. So we will start that project, and then once they're trained, we'll satisfy that, and they'll come in here and they'll both start working, and it'll probably go quite quickly. Shall we decorate the room just a little bit more? So it's probably cold. So we'll pop that in there, because we don't have any supercomputers yet. Maybe one day. So we'll do that. It's quite warm now. That's fine though. Yes. Oh, I know. I think I might pop it there. And I like the idea of researchers sitting down on a chair, looking at problems. I like that. I do kind of like that. Let's give them all their sort of general amenities. Now, I do tend to give researchers coffee because I like them to go as quickly as possible and that.
Nurse required in cardiology.
Give them their hygiene and then something to eat in case they get peckish. There it is.
They said he was too old. They said he looked ridiculous.
And I think filing cabinets look good in a research office.
But when the world needs a hero must put on his spandex.
And I feel for research,
This summer,
it makes sense that they would have posters of different illnesses and that around the place. That sort of makes sense to me.
Spandex 5, a stretch too far.
So let's do that. So it also adds prestige, look. Attractiveness, I mean. There we are.
This is 2 Point Radio.
An anatomy model. Might be nice. Put that.
The health inspector is
Oh, is he?
Please try to look healthy.
Yes, please do. Actually, do you know what? We might put this here. I like the idea as well of having this in the research room. Lots of things for them to look at to research anatomy and whatever they need to. Lots of ways. Somewhere to store bits and bobs, rulers and pencils and whatnot. Excellent. Hey, I kind of like it. Here's another stuff promotion. This is this is a janitor one, training slot. So they get a plus 15 movement speed boost because of course they do a lot of moving about the hospital. And so if they can get from A to B faster, the better, right? 10% upgrade speed, fantastic, and a 20% maintenance skill. So that's pretty good. So I think that is looking at that. I think what I am going to do is make it so that all my janitors look after toilets. I think I am going to do that. I think I kind of like it. Yes, because you end up with quite a lot of toilets and sometimes they get quite heavily abused. So we know that it's quite warm in here. Toasty warm. It's fairly attractive too. We could put some more. Oh, they don't have their certificates. They don't have their certificates. So there we are. Look, trained. And when we unlock awards, we might give them some awards. So there they are. So he could work at this desk. There he goes. He's trying to figure out what to do. There we are. See? And I think like the wards, you can have up to 4 additional people working in here, which means you can have a total of 5. Research project completed. Well done. We've completed a research project. This discovery can be used across the whole organisation. So we'll have chromotherapy at all hospitals now. When a project is completed, researchers will look for work elsewhere unless we kick off another project. As we make new discoveries and travel to new parts of the county, our boffins will propose new areas for research. Keep your eyes peeled for new projects. There we go. See, we were very close to getting that, weren't we? We were very close to getting that. And look, there we go. And you can, again, train your researchers up into level 5. But you have to research that training in order to do it. So I think what we'll do is add chromotherapy to our treatment section in the next episode, and possibly even add a staff room to here for our researchers to hang out, which will push us into level 14. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, please hit that like button. As long as you are here, why not check out one of my delectable videos available? Feel free to come stalk me on social media and be sure to share this video with friends so even more may watch my SHIZWAH. See you next time, peeps.